You guys ever fuck up? Let me start at the beginning. So many moons ago, in a land known as Taylor, Michigan, I decided to do what most straight men do when they realize that they could actually take up more space. I bought some microphones and a recorder and started a podcast. I talked to my friend Andre in what was then my office, I guess. It was just the spare room that I had my computer stuff in. And I wasn't being an incel or trying to ask women strange hypothetical questions. I just wanted to talk to my friends because I have a lot of friends and they're all incredibly talented. And that's what I did twice. And then I stopped. I stopped largely because there was a global pandemic that shut the world down. Also because I had to get surgery and then I was like moving. There was a lot going on. And for the past couple years, I've considered bringing it back. I just do enjoy the format and having like a dedicated amount of time that I can talk to, again, people that I really love, really care about, and think have interesting opinions or life experiences that maybe they could share with folks. And I finally did here in my new space at the Photo House on this very table, which you can't see in the shop, but there's a table. And for the first guest, I had my great friend and longtime collaborator, Curtis Roach. You might know him from things.
Wake up and I'll organize my auras with chakras, bumping that chakra count. All your flows fictional, same equivocal comic count. Feel like I'm lost in the universe, just a particle traveling in this space. My heart will go hyperactive whenever I see your face. Keep on rocking in the free world. 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 Yeah, go ahead, go and do what you want. Live free, do what you want. Ride around town, ride a bike or something. Stay carefree, live life. Here's Curtis Roach, Stimmy. Left, yeah. Hey, bang this when you just gotta check. Okay, I'm bored in the house and I'm in the house bored.
And we had a fucking amazing conversation. There was just one tiny detail. The microphones weren't, I never hit record on the audio, which is important for a thing you're supposed to listen to. You know what I'm saying? I didn't hit record on the audio, and this is my attempt at trying to make it better, I guess. I have no plan. Just so you're like, I didn't come with a script. There's no questions.
Okay. I like your shirt. I like the real life. Thank you for having me back.
I don't.
You for your comeback.
Of course. There was no intro. This is Curtis. Hi, Curtis. How are you?
What up?
We've known each other for a long time.
Wow. Like, since, 2016, 2017?
That sounds, because
2017, maybe.
Yeah, 2017, because I didn't start coming around to Bagley until, like, the end of my freshman, start of my sophomore year at State, which was, 2016, 2017. In that failed attempt at a podcast, we talked a lot about where we met and where a lot of our early work got made, which was here, actually. The Culture House, if you're not from Detroit and not aware. Thanks to an organization by the name of We Are Culture Creators, we met each other and started what's now almost been a decade-long friendship and career.
So how did you, start coming around to the, what introduced you to Rez? Was it through Manny?
No. It was, when I was in college, I was doing poetry, more than I was doing photo stuff, because cameras cost money, but, writing shit down doesn't, you know. So
Yeah.
I was doing poetry with Andre. He kind of got me into that. And I opened at an event that Reyes, Damasio, and K1 were the like headliners for,
Okay.
like some on campus thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Damasio recognized me because I went to elementary school with his brother, with his younger brother. So I didn't even know that I knew him, and then he was like, "Yo, like you look familiar. Like, are you from Southwest?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we kind of connected from there. And then in the summer, that summer, I was like, I'll go stop by. Like, I'm not doing shit. You know what I mean? But how did you? Yeah, like, what was your connection? By the time I got there, I feel like you hadn't been there that long either. Like in terms of like being around, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. So okay. So I think it was either the beginning of 2016 or end of 2016 going into 2017. I'm like, kind of, it's a blur for me because I think it was the end of 2016, and I was like, I was coming around with Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, he was like, because he knew Damasio.
Yeah.
He knew Damasio and all like K1 and
J squared for reference.
Yeah, that's
there's
my
too
cousin.
There's too many J's.
Right.
Too many J's, but
Sorry about
yeah.
that.
No, you're
Forgot
fine.
about that. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even. We're talking about fucking Bagley and
Homies.
culture creators
Yeah.
and a bunch of for the uninitiated. But I feel like anyone that would find this is semi-aware at least.
Yeah. So J Squared is my cousin. He was probably at the hospital when I was born. He's like 5 years ahead of me. And anyways, me and him are like this. So he's kind of like, when I started rapping, he was like, he took me under his wing just off the rip. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like forever thankful for everything that he's like taught me. He's like kind of like my sensei, or would he be the senpai? I'd be, or
No, I think he's sensei. You're senpai. Yeah.
So anyways, he's like, he knew Damasio when he was like Pharaoh Soul, and they were doing the whole like Awkward Theory type vibes.
That's like
amazing.
Ancient lore.
Man.
That's like, yeah.
If you know, Southwest legends, just legends in general. And like, I think Damasio had already kind of like started breaking off, and K1 was breaking off into just doing their own thing. So they started like, they was like, come through. It was the Yellow sessions, the Deepest Yellow sessions.
I have the like. I'll grab it in a sec. I have the CD still. Like,
for real?
The Deepest Yellows CD.
Wow.
Yeah, which is like trippy.
And I think there's a lot of footage from that day.
I wouldn't be surprised.
There's
I really wouldn't.
There's like bro, there's got to be like a documentary on that shit. I'm like dry, like my mouth.
Do you want water?
Dry. Yes,
I will
please.
get you water.
I'm high. It's like trying to tell a good ass story. I got cotton off and shit. We lay down our verses, and I think it was kind of just like a thing where it was just like, yo, come back to the crib. Like Damasio was already staying at Reyes' house and stuff, and Reyes kind of was just like, yeah, what you guys got planned? Just talking to us. Him and Liz were just like kind of just like helping us with all the plotting and stuff like that. And then I think in that winter, he was like, I don't know who came up with that. I wasn't even there for that. Like, they were like, yo, we got to do this culture creators thing, and they did the launch in March. And I remember it was kind of just like hit the ground running from there. And I mean, yeah, like those were some pure ass days. Everything that was coming out that house, still to this day. I mean, but like at that time, especially, it was just amazing. Like the video you shot for stations, like
I mean, that's still that to me. And like I know that I have made things that are obviously better, like technically, skill set wise, whatever. But there was something about just starting and not knowing shit, you know what I mean? And just being like, I don't know, like maybe this looks cool, and just kind of like fucking around.
That shit was so fucking
Oh, dude, I was like, those were like, it was that video, it was doing like Somebody Loves You Back, which is like...
everybody, I mean, a lot of people to this day,
to
this day, come up to me and they're like, that's my favorite video.
Which is insane.
The other day, somebody was like, what's that, man, bro, the one where you were on Michigan Avenue? I was like, yeah. Somebody Loves You Back, bro.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
There was just something so, one, like, pure, but, like, I don't know, it just comes across as, like, very authentic and very, like, sincere, you know what I mean? Which I think, like, not you. I don't think you inherently lose it, but the older you get, the more stuff you learn, the more equipment, whatever. You're just thinking about things a little differently. Whereas back then, it's like, oh, yeah, like let's just try anything. You know.
I agree. Like I think rap for me is like a little more technical now that I have studied it more, and then on top of that, I've like experienced different flows and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, now I know a different part of the industry. How do I approach a song? Like, but back then it was like I could just write in my notepad for hours, and like it would be whatever it is. I'm just throwing it at the. It could have been trash, and most of it was trash, but it's like, fuck it, we're gonna.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Like there were no expectations. There's no like, you're just happy to be doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm always thinking about that time period and always trying to like have some level of that. While we're doing this whole thing where I like drive around and try to make up for the sins of my incompetence, we talk a lot about the Highly Caffeinated show, which happened in a building that used to be behind me, and then it burned down, unfortunately. So, you know, there's that to consider. It's always weird seeing how the city changes and how people look at me when I'm filming myself in front of their house. So I'm gonna go now. Like, I always think about the Highly Caffeinated show, like over on Junction. Like,
that was amazing.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Like
that was way before that shit.
Way before everything. You know what I mean? And so like, I don't know. I'm also curious how, I don't know. You just had like a certain level of exposure, but also like those were like real people. It wasn't like, oh, just 100 likes. It's like 100 people in a room to see you in the middle of like a random like bando in Detroit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I think creates like, again, like you said, like an appreciation for just like having people there and making stuff that you're like really proud of and stuff.
Yeah. I think that's why like I want to stay in Detroit.
Yeah.
Like I think it keeps me super grounded in like anything that, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's such a community here, like where I can just like feel the real love. You know what I'm saying? It's not like something where I'm just depending on like some online. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like online exposure is really cool, but I feel like if you can't, you know, have a little event or something, or you just like not outside trying to like connect with people, sometimes it just I don't know. It doesn't even feel fun. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and you've had like, I don't know, your growth, again, as a person who's gotten to see it in a lot of states. I mean, by the time we met, you already had like so much shit on SoundCloud. Like, and obviously like, I don't know, like how does that stuff in your mind, how do you weigh it to like stuff you do now? Like where do you know?
Honestly, okay, so I feel like I got to a real good balance with like numbers after seeing like the crazy amount of numbers through virality. That being said, like there was a point in time where it was just like so crazy. Like it was I didn't know, and I was like blaming algorithms and all that stuff like that. But like looking back on my growth overall, like first it was SoundCloud. That's all that mattered. Like if I had 100 views on a thing, I was like, this is going
huge.
And it got to a point where it was like, okay, if I get 100 views in an hour or 100 views overnight at first, and then it was like, okay, all right, I got 100 likes, and if the song had 100 likes on SoundCloud, like I was like, oh, this is doing good, and it was to a point where I was just like forgetting to, you know, worry about the music for a second, you know what I'm saying? So like I actually had to let go of that shit before a lot of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the whole like viral shit, like so that like my numbers thing, I had like a cool relationship with that, but then it was like when it got to like Instagram, at one point it was like, oh, if you get 400 likes, your shit is crazy. And so like I think a lot of people like look at all that shit and it like gets in the way of like what they're creating. And I I had a moment where I was just like, bro, because there was a point in time where like everything was hitting 1 million, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, but I think a lot of that shit was just like out of my control at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like Bored in the House, like you can just do a case study on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of let that be what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I would be a fool to be like, yo, I gotta chase those numbers like all my life. I can't do that shit. If that's what people want, if somebody just wants me banging on a table, I can't do that for you all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that time frame, like, I feel like the 2017, 2018 was like my first like boom, just for my career as far as like, you know, I started putting stuff on like streaming services at that point. I was past the whole SoundCloud thing. I would post on SoundCloud, but like that was the streaming, and then like, you know, putting out videos with y'all. We're doing shows like Reyes was taking us to like Chicago every once in a while, and like doing the exposure through the shows, and then that happening, Mopop, the Highly Caffeinated show was like the beginning of that year/era, and I was low key getting like a lot of blog looks too. Like I was like on fucking Pitchfork. I got like a higher rating than Camp, and I remember I was like, I got a higher rating than Childish Gambino's first. I'm like, holy shit, it's crazy. But yeah, like that was crazy, and I just feel like that was just another like going back to that moment. It's just like those are cool moments that are just happening.
We also talked quite a bit about just milestones in each of our careers that we both got to see the other experience firsthand, which was really cool. That's why I'm standing where I am. Behind me is the site that used to host Mopop every year, right along the river directly across from Canada. They don't do Mopop anymore, and this area is going to look completely different in a couple of years, so it's always funny to drive by and see how much things have changed.
I think it just builds up.
Oh, 100%. I mean, again, Mopop was crazy. I mean, I have like, and I go back to that picture constantly because I didn't know who those motherfuckers were at that time. And it's you, J Squared, Rex Orange County, and Billie Eilish, and y'all are just like, but you know what I mean? And it's like, I had no clue who those people were. No, like not a single like thought in my mind of like who they were or who they would be in like the coming years.
I feel like the only person I like knew, and I mean it was Rex, because like he was on the Tyler album, I think, or he had some appearances, and then I was just finding out about Billie, like, and I remember that day she like she was just chilling in the back like with her homies or her parents or something. Her parents was just chilling with her, and fucking she hands me her phone and she's like, put your number in.
Insane.
It was insane. She changed her number back.
I mean,
I didn't even know what the fuck to say to Billie Eilish at the time. Like I had to find out how mega famous she was. I was like, bro, she famous as hell. Like I'm not finna. What do you say to that? Right. Yeah. But yeah, that's that was like a cool moment. Like we were just casually in cool ass moments.
She like, I like sent her photos and she like responded to my DM. And,
oh damn!
And again, like at that time, I'm just like, wow, this like artist, like that's so cool. That like even if they looked at it, like that's dope. That that's you know what I mean? And then like fan pages and shit with like, you know, like that's when that was happening, and I was like,
oh yeah, there was a lot of fan pages of her.
Yeah, and then crazy. Again, just to like those are like insane experiences to have, especially like looking back at like
Okay, I'm bored.
Okay, we do have to.
Okay.
We do have to go to the elephant thing, the elephant moment, like career-wise.
Okay.
So I'm curious, like, first of all, at what point did you realize that it was a big deal?
I would say, because I put it out like a week before the shutdown.
Yeah.
And I think when I first put it out, it might have probably only had like 5,000 likes. And that was pretty dope for the time,
Yeah.
because at the time I already had like a few videos that went viral. Like I had one video where I had like a fucking strawberry. It had like 1 million likes. I was like, look how big this strawberry is.
And this is like early TikTok. Too.
Yes,
This is
like 2019
Yeah.
is when I started. Like September of 2019, and at the time I was so against it. Like
same.
my manager was like, yo, you should be on this shit. Like, he was telling me in 2018, like, when we went out to LA, he was like, there's this thing called TikTok. And then my baby brother and sister was already using it. Anyways, so I had a few videos already up, and that started becoming, like, a thing, I would say, probably the day after shutdown. Like, immediately I started seeing it just went to 10,000. The next hour it was like 20,000, 30,000. It got to a point where, like, I turned the notifications off on the app because I was still getting notifications like zzz, and I fucking turned that shit off, and I kind of like walked away because I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
And then shit got really real when like brands started like reaching out, and like the actual TikTok company started reaching out. I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Like, and then I started seeing like blogs posted. They're like, you know, the whole debacle with like, at first they thought it was Tyga because Tyga had made the video. Keke Palmer. It was just so many people. Fucking Chance the Rapper.
Yeah. Well, the fucking Kardashians.
The Kardashians.
Yeah, like it was, dude.
Yeah. It was raps. Like from that point.
Yeah.
Like my manager was just like, just get ready because like it's about to go wild. Like the next few weeks is about to be crazy. And every day, I would say from March 2020, and this is still pandemic. Like I can't go nowhere.
Right,
I'm in my crib.
Yeah.
I'm in my crib. Like there was companies sending me like cameras like this to like shoot a commercial. I shot some shit for like some video game company. Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot of back to back. Like it was to the point where it was like 3 things a day. Like my manager would call me. He'd be like, "All right, we got to turn a video in for this, and this." And then on top of that, I'm like trying to do my own shit too. Of course. I'm trying to still work on music.
Well,
like,
you're also trying to not die. Like that's the other crazy thing is
that too.
You can't even fucking go to the grocery store.
Oh my god!
You know
in between all that shit, I'm over here masked up, trying to pick up some food or some shit. It was like madness from March until I would say like July. I started feeling like burnout.
Yeah.
Like I remember I told my manager, I was like, like I gotta chill. Like I want to like work on music and just like, I don't want to have to worry about doing a bunch of shit. And then some of them were getting redundant. Like I'm thankful for all the like stuff that I ended up doing. Like, but there were some things where it was just like, all right, I don't need to like do this because it's just like asking me to do Board in the House again. I'm like, this is stupid. Like I'm ready to move on. It's fucking July of that year. And then at that point, it was like the Black Lives Matter stuff. And it's just like, bro, niggas is dying out here, bro. Like, come on. It was a wild time.
I mean, similarly, and obviously this is like much later in that video and that song's lifespan.
Yeah.
I just watched Bodies like the other day. It's like immortalized in film. It's like
it's forever.
That movie is so like that movie is so tied to like that period and that like just young like Gen Z Zoomer fucking like sense of humor and everything. And you are like
Gen Z.
You're a plot element. You know what I mean? Like it's not even just some shit that's in the background. You are a narrative device in the movie. You know what I mean?
Dude, that shit is insane. Hey, look, bro. Thank God for that fucking song. Like, I can't even, like, that song is, I feel like you can't even, that's why I said it's like, you would have to do like a case study on it, bro. Yeah. Like, it's like a moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't just like a viral thing. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like some little meme video that just like it's forever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it ties into the pandemic too. Like there's a fucking documentary on OnlyFans I guess it's
Fun?
on. No, it's not on OnlyFans.
Okay.
It's a OnlyFans documentary on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a Sorry. You got sweaty a little bit
I was
when
like,
you
wait.
said.
I was like, no, what do you mean? It's on what?
But there's like talking about the rise in that during the pandemic,
Yeah.
and they have my video in it. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. It's like really a part of it. That's why I feel like with all the craziness, I think I'm just like thankful for that it happened.
Yeah,
Like I always go back to that. I'm like, wow, this is a really cool musical moment that people needed. They was in the crib.
Well, because I'm sure. I mean, I know like
Mhm.
that there was a degree of like, I don't know that resentment is the right word, you know what I mean? But it
Mhm.
does become frustrating at a certain point, I'm sure, when like you have this big moment and suddenly everything you've done before
Yeah.
and everything you're trying to do
Yes.
is like eclipsed. And it's just kind of like
Yeah.
everyone's like, but do the thing.
I know.
You know what I mean? And it's like, well, I'm still
Yeah.
a musician. I'm still an artist. I still do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I made a joke
Right.
that got
right.
popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do other things. You know what I mean? Like I know that
I feel like
it had to be.
yeah,
difficult.
it's difficult when I'm just looking at my TikTok comments, because TikTok is the only platform like where I could post a video of me in Japan, invited by Sony, and I'm like having a good time, living my best life, eating sushi, and it's a cool ass video, and then somebody be like, "This nigga fell off." Dude bored in the house, you fell off. It's just like when you are the bored in the house guy, it's like, nigga, you got an album out? Like,
Right. Yeah. Well, because you have. It's kind of crazy and like it's cool that it's so tied to that time also
yeah,
that you're right. You could never replicate a fucking global pandemic where suddenly everybody's inside,
Yeah.
where suddenly everybody's using this new social media platform.
yeah.
Where you know what I mean? Like it was just
Lightning in the bottle.
literally,
Yeah.
there were so many things that had to line up for
Yeah.
that to happen.
Yeah.
And again, like it was so trippy for me watching that movie the other day
Mhm.
because again, it's so far removed from that time period.
Yeah.
But to like again, immortalized forever. Like
Yeah.
as like, hey,
Mhm.
this is what this period looked like, and you're a part of it, and that's like
Yeah.
it's
Well,
insane.
that's where like the community thing is like important to me, is because like being here, people here let me know like, nigga, we've been rocking with you before that shit, and we know that you dope as fuck. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that to this day, like, you know, even I mentioned Paramita, we might
Yeah.
go there this weekend.
Yeah.
But like Dre is always like, bro, you a fucking dope ass talent. Like when the fucking Illingsworth thing dropped and I'm getting like DMs from fucking Tim Robinson and he has like the I think you should leave show. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like you're listening to my stuff. So it's like there's authentic people online that remind me like of why I do this shit. And then there's people in the community that really let me know, like you could, you know, stop fucking with me or think I'm like, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
you know, but like there was a point in time where like I felt like the shit that I was working towards wasn't enough. And I feel like the community around me kind of reminded me like, oh, this is like, bro, this is why you do this shit. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, like even with the bodies, it's like, wow, that is cool as fuck. Like that's a dope thing that I did authentically being me. And I just got to keep on doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really all that matters, you know?
Like that's
We went to so many countries together this year.
Yeah, go to Europe.
Me
for
and
the
you,
first time.
how many? Paris, Berlin,
Yeah,
fucking
Amsterdam,
London.
London.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So many European cities.
Yeah.
Dude, we like some globetrotters. Right?
Yeah.
Well, you definitely a globetrotter. Your shit a little more stamped up.
Just a
Just a
tiny-
little bit
just a
more.
tiny bit.
But I'm catching up.
Yeah.
But dude.
Yeah.
And that's off of art.
Yeah.
That's off of the art that we do.
And that's like I mean, at the end of the day, that's the thing that like, regardless of what's going on in life, regardless of like career, job, whatever it is, like I feel so like secure in the fact that like I've gotten to do it more than a lot of other people get to. And like that's enough. You know what I mean? Like there are things that I still want to do, places I still want to go, things I still want to accomplish. But like it's pretty damn good already. You know what I mean? It like really and I think that's like it's hard to fucking
I mean like I look back on that shit on like all the things that we've done and all the things that just like in general through the journey, it's just been like such a cool ass journey. Because like, you know, there's some people that's been in this shit 15 years and like haven't really been doing a lot of cool shit, you know what I'm saying? And you know, there's some people that's still like working towards that or whatever, but like I feel like we can like say like there's some cool ass moments 100%. Hands down like
and things that other people again from the biggest versions of them, whether that's fucking performing at a festival or traveling like different parts of the world, to things as small or as intimate as like again those Bagley experiences, shows at Junction, like just things that other people did not and will not get to ever experience again. You know what I mean? Like these really like unique fucking.
It's crazy. I mean, like, shit. Bro, we've So we're doing a good job.
We're doing pretty fucking good.
I hope I didn't sound cringe on this motherfucker.
No, I think you sounded great.
Man.
I mean, again, we'll see how much of us sounded at all, but I had a great conversation.
I love this conversation. Yeah. Shit, I was about to shed a tear. No, I was playing. I wasn't going to shed a tear. Yeah. I had cotton mouth, though.
I know. That was, you know, more water next time. We'll have the water at the start.
I was cotton mouth for a second in that story.
I know.
That was kind of funny, though.
Yeah. And then we'll run it back. We'll run it back one of these days.
We have to. I love this.
King, thanks for fucking coming through. I just start hitting you. All right, we're gonna go do something. If this insufferable piecemeal attempt at a podcast episode was even remotely interesting, and 4 of you watch it, I'll consider doing it again. Only 4 though. Like if 5 watch, like you're screwed. I'm sorry. So hey, see you in the next one. Maybe.